everybody. So today we are presenting the methodology guidelines and technical protocols and data integration. This is a task that is envisaged in the work package for code integration and interoperability of new data technology and digitalization. So we need to make a first introduction of the work package itself before to get more in deep in the technical protocol. So basically, the work package 4 has the main goal and general objective to map the data gaps in the for the correct and successful implementation of the strategy papers, and try to also identify new data sources or tool and to give instruction for the integration mechanism, providing a new data collection approach utilizing these new tools. The work package 4s were divided in three different tasks. The first one was called data needs, sources, and farm level monitoring technologies, where we basically analyzed the CAP data needs. We see the current and the future data sources utilized. And we went more in deep to what are the farm level monitoring technologies that they use nowadays. The second task was the challenges, title challenges and approaches for landscape monitoring. So we moved from a farm level to a more landscape monitoring level. And in this report task, we used to review the existing initiative that are alive now. What are the interoperability methods used among them, and study the integration of data sources from the farm level to regional or national level in the CAP strategic papers. And then we arrived to the task 4.3 called Methodology Guidelines and Technical Protocols that more or less synthesized what is discovered in the first two tasks, and then most probably the most important tasks of the entire work packages. So based on what we discovered in the previous task, we propose that some technical specification based on some user stories that we identified, and we propose also architecture for a CAP monitoring information system. Going a little bit more in deep on every task. Every task has as a delivery a report. In this report, for example, for the 4.1, we the points that we touched was that we see the CAP related regulation was reviewed. So the regulation of the CAP was reviewed to identify what are the data requirements that each intervention need. Then we pass by a literature review on the existing and common technologies, especially in operating at farm level. and to see their potential use as data sources also for other topics, for example, to monitor to monitor the performance of the strategy papers itself. And we pass by to study some of these tools as the farm management information systems, the geotarget photo apps, machinery data, robotics, and earth observation, and also IoTs. Then we identify new data acquisition technology that can support the compliance and performance monitoring and interventions implemented in the member states' CASP. So the main goal was to try to find out new technology that can be used as performance monitoring for the CAP itself. Identify the most suitable technology. Regarding the deliverable to 4.2, the report identified the CAP's policy needs and data gaps based on inputs on 4.1. Formulated a landscape monitoring framework definition that facilitated the user and then the interlink between the data coming from farm level and utilize this data at regional or national level. Reviewed also in this case the existing initiative, so like technology platform and repositories that are using nowadays, and assess also the potential role of the social media and analytics in the CAP monitoring. Then finally arrive to the methodology guidelines and technical protocols that summarize what we defined in the previous tasks. Why these guidelines are needed. So, the new CAP strategic plans introduce a performance-based model, giving to the member states more flexibility, but also more responsibility before what has been done in the past. And to monitor the performance effectively, the authorities, especially with the new CAP, and also for the new variables introduced, the authorities may need a more accurate and timely and interoperability data, where a connection between the farm level information and the technologies needed for these farm level data sources can be linked to the landscape level administrative data sets. Okay. So, what was the approach that we use for these methodology guidelines? As I said before, the report has been based on the study that we collected on the delivered 4.1 and 4.2, and translates technical and scientific findings into some practical guidelines that member states can adopt and adapt. We use a methodological approach that goes from a mapping user needs. We identify the most relevant data sources. We defining some data flows, and we propose also technical protocols based on best practice. Again, on methodology, we define the methodology guidelines through a set of 7 news stories. Each one addressing real policy questions related to the sustainability, environmental monitoring, and CAP performance. We see that the introduction of the new FSADN, for example, that propose new variables to be monitored on the sustainability on the farm, go in the same direction of the CAP. So we focus ourselves on try to understand how we can use the new technologies that nowadays are used at farm level to detect what are the sustainability aspects that we would like to monitor for the new CAP. Each user stories includes, okay, what are the actors involved, what are the data sources that we are going to utilize, the workflow, so the movement of the data, the UML sequence and diagrams, and the relevant CAP indicators and legislation that each use stories is going to touch. We went through some cross-cutting teams. For example, the interoperability one was of those teams that it's very, very important. And we stress the needs, for example, to try to give the possibility to use some data from level to administrative level to standardize the data exchange, for example. There are some legal compliance then that this new workflow that's taken into consideration, for example, the legal compliance, one of the most important is the privacy of the data, so the GDPR. And the other point that we stress on an interoperability side was the harmonized spatial infrastructure. As I said before, the new FSDN took a quite important role in this tasks because we take into consideration the variables that the new FSDN introduced in the starting 2025 to assess the sustainable variables, and we focus on to monitor the sustainable variables for the new CAP, taking in consideration the variables introduced by the FSDN. And of course, okay, the make the cross-cutting team, but also the most important team is stressing the attention on the integration of farm level and landscape level data. What are the lessons learned of the tasks? The new data acquisition technology at farm level that are integrated in the regular operation on the farms to better manage the farm could be utilized for the CSP monitoring and evaluation. When the data are acquired on farm are used out of the farm, data sharing challenges such as privacy and ownerships arise. So there is a problem, as I said before, on the privacy that has been taken into consideration. Then, when the data acquired off-farm are used in the farm, the accessibility and lack of standards data models become the main challenge. Another lesson learned is that the social economic aspects that are the new variables that in the CAP are start to take into consideration are the most challenging to identify and to monitoring with the technology that we use at farm level. Then the interoperability between statistical and administrative database seems quite rare. And that's it. Okay, this is a scenario-based software that most probably Georgios will explain later on more in detail. Once again, okay, these are the user stories overview that we used on the report and in the design and methodology guidelines. As you see, we went through the 7 use stories, each and each of them take into consideration one variable. So as you see, we take into consideration variables as soil health, pesticides, nutrients, animal welfare, sustainable food production, landscape feature monitoring, and irrigation practices, water use. For each variables, we used different data sources. For example, for soil health, we use IoTs and field sensors. Pesticides, we use farm management information system and digital farm book. Nutrients, agriculture 4 and 4.2 technologies, all the robotics on the tractors and blah blah. For animal welfare, livestock management and systems, and so on and so forth. And yeah, man, this is an example of the scheme that you use on the user stories. You can see we take into consideration the off farm data, the on farm data, and the data collection and how the processing is done. That's it. Thank you.